Hey guys, CryptoDad here again, and today I'm going to show you how to recover your crypto that you have stored on a ledger device. So let's get started. So it can be a horrifying thing to discover that you've lost access to the cryptocurrency that you have stored using your ledger device. But the first thing to remember is don't panic. There are a few common scenarios that you will encounter that are very easy to recover from if you just stay calm and approach things logically. So I'm going to walk you through those easy and quick solutions. Now, before we dive in, I want to just remind you that as long as you have your 24-word recovery phrase written down and stored in a safe place, then you will always be able to recover access to your crypto. I've got a great video on doing a full restore from recovery phrase if that is your issue. And we're going to cover that scenario in today's video as well. So just remember, as long as you have that backup phrase, there's really no reason to panic. So as you're implementing these solutions, it's important to remember first and foremost where your crypto is stored. It's not stored on your ledger device, and it's not stored in Ledger Live or on your computer. Your crypto is stored on the blockchain, and a lot of people forget this. They feel like if something happens to the device, they've lost all their crypto, or if something happens to Ledger Live, they've lost all their crypto. But your crypto is safe and sound on the blockchain. I'm going to show you how to get access to it. So your next question might be, if your crypto is stored on the blockchain, then what purpose do the Ledger device and Ledger Live serve? So the Ledger device is the keychain that will unlock your assets. It doesn't matter if it's one crypto or multiple cryptos. Your Ledger device is like a keychain that can unlock access to all of your crypto assets. Ledger Live is like the eyes of your wallet. Using Ledger Live, you can see your assets, you can see your balance, your transaction histories, all of your sends and receives. All of that information is contained in Ledger Live and stored on your computer. And that is just the history and current balance of your assets. The assets themselves, of course, are stored safely and securely on the blockchain. So what are the scenarios that I'm going to cover today? Well, there are two common scenarios that people will encounter when using Ledger devices in Ledger Live. The first is that your device is completely intact. Nothing has happened to the device. It's been in a drawer or wherever, and it's fine. But for some reason, you've lost access to your Ledger Live. And when people lose access to Ledger Live, they immediately feel like they've lost their crypto. This is not the case. You've basically just lost your eyes, as I mentioned earlier. Now, the second scenario is if something happens to the device and your Ledger Live is completely intact. This happens quite often as well. So in this case, you've basically lost the keys to your car, but you can still see your assets using Ledger Live. So I'm going to show you how to deal with both of these scenarios. They're very common problems and they have very easy solutions. All right, so I'm going to start with Ledger Live issues. So there are a couple of things that could happen that would cause you to lose access to your Ledger Live. The first is that you have a new computer or a new phone. This is one of the most common scenarios. You get a brand new computer, you install Ledger Live, and it's blank and you panic, right? An even more common solution is that you buy a brand new phone and you dutifully migrate all of your settings over to the new phone, and everything is there. Your Ledger Live app is there, but when you open it, it's blank. And that's just a feature of Ledger Live, that it is dependent on the device. So if you've got a new computer or a new phone, I'm going to show you what to do. The next scenario would be that perhaps your hard drive got replaced. Your hard drive crashed, something went wrong on your computer, you have a brand new hard drive, brand new system, and a brand new copy of Ledger Live. I'll show you how to get that handled. The next would be you have some sort of tech or software issue with your computer. Either you've done it yourself or you've taken your computer into the shop and they've reinstalled your operating system for whatever reason. In a case like that, they might have reinstalled your apps for you. And of course, your Ledger Live will be empty because the preference file is probably lost or damaged, right? So we'll deal with our Ledger Live issues first. So if you've got a new computer or you had tech issues with your computer, this is the screen that you'll be presented with when you first run Ledger Live. Now, you may need to reinstall Ledger Live depending on the situation. That's pretty easy. You just go over to the Ledger website, go to the Ledger Live section, and download the proper copy of Ledger Live for your operating system and install it, right? So, and here we are. We end up with a blank Ledger Live. So what are we going to do now? All of those crypto accounts that we had on there before are gone, missing. We're freaking out. What are we going to do? Well, as I mentioned in this scenario, your device is intact. So let's use the device to help us regain access to our accounts. I'm going to go ahead and connect my device and enter my PIN. So how do we know which cryptos we had stored in Ledger Live? Well, hopefully you're a pretty meticulous person and you, of course, remember every single crypto that you had stored in Ledger Live. But even if you don't remember, you can reference your Ledger device. Take a look at the Ledger device I've got here and notice that there are 5 apps installed. I've got Ethereum, Bitcoin, Cardano, Polkadot, and XRP. Those are the crypto apps that I installed on the device, so we'll just systematically check each one of those for any existing accounts. So all we need to do is click Get Started. We'll choose our device. In this case, I have a Ledger Nano X. Now, it's not the first time we've used the device. Don't fall into this trap. Don't set up the device as new, right? You've got your device, it's intact, and the apps are already installed on there. So we're not using it for the first time. Now, the second section here has 2 choices. We already have a recovery phrase, right? We've written it down and stored it in a safe place. So they want to know, do you wish to recover it or do you simply want to connect your device? Well, the device is intact, so we don't need to do the full recovery. A lot of people fall into this mistake, right? There is no need to restore the device. The device is intact. All we need to do is reconnect it to Ledger Live and get our account set up. So we'll click Connect your Ledger Nano X, and it's going to do the genuine check. Make sure your device is connected and your PIN is entered. Choose Check My Nano, and there you go. It's ready. All you have to do is click Allow Ledger Manager by clicking both buttons, and you're all good, right? Let's hit Continue. And so now you see that we're in the empty account window, right? We've got Ledger Live installed and set up, but where are all the crypto accounts? Well, we're going to get those taken care of. We'll start with Ethereum. That's the first app in my list. I'll click Add Account. I'll pull down and choose Ethereum and click Continue. Now it's going to ask me to open the Ethereum app. I'll click both buttons. All right, so it scans my device. It finds the Ethereum wallet that I created. Now, one thing to remember is it will find the wallet, but it's not going to remember whatever you named it before. So if you had a customized name in there, you're going to need to put that back in again. So in my case, I like to call mine Ethereum main. You might have just left it at its default Ethereum 1. That's fine. Doesn't matter what it's named. It's entirely based on your personal preferences, what you want to name the account. We'll just click Add Account and done. And lo and behold, the balance is there, the transaction history is there, and even my Ethereum tokens are there, right? Everything is there that was there before. All right, so that's number 1. Now what? I'll go ahead and exit out of the Ethereum app. I'll click Quit. All right, we'll go back to the main screen there. And the next one is Bitcoin, right? I have the Bitcoin app, so it makes sense that I probably had some Bitcoin stored in there. I'll click Add Account. This time we'll choose Bitcoin. We'll click Continue. It wants me to open the Bitcoin app. I'll click both buttons to do that. It's going to scan my device and look for any existing wallets. All right, so it found the Bitcoin wallet that I had created before. As I mentioned, you can rename this, whatever you want to do with it. I'm just going to call it Bitcoin. We'll click Done, and now you can see that I have 2 accounts reestablished. All right, now I can go back to the main screen on the Ledger device for reference and look at my next crypto. That would be Cardano. I'll go ahead and do another Add Account. I'll choose Cardano. We'll click Continue. It wants me to open the Cardano app. I'll click both buttons. All right, it found the Cardano wallet that I had created that was stored on this Ledger device. We'll click Add Account, and now I've recovered 3. I'll go ahead and recover the other 2. And so we'll just continue this until we've recovered all of the accounts that we had stored on the Ledger device. All right, so you can see here that I've recovered all 5 of the accounts that I had stored in my previous version of Ledger Live. And I basically just used the device to recover the accounts, and I also used the device as a reference tool so that I would remember the cryptos that I had stored in there before. Pretty easy. Now you've recovered access to all of the crypto. How would we do this on the phone? A lot of people are phone users, so let me show you how that works. If you dutifully migrate all of your settings over to a new phone, you'll have all of your apps, but the Ledger Live app will be empty. Now, if you don't have Ledger Live installed on a replacement phone, if you've had a problem with your phone and you bought a new phone, maybe you lost your old phone, that's no problem either. You can just run over to the App Store and just download the latest copy of Ledger Live for your phone. All right. Now, as I mentioned, we're dealing with a scenario where the phone, for whatever reason, has lost access to Ledger Live, right? It's a new phone, a replacement phone, whatever that case may be, but our device is intact. All we need to do is connect our device to the Ledger Live app and it's reestablish those accounts, right? So depending on the situation, the Ledger device may already be paired. If maybe you've just accidentally uninstalled Ledger Live, I'll go through the scenario of perhaps having to repair the device to the phone. All right, so the first question is, do you own a Ledger? Yes. Now we're going to set up the device. All right, it's going to be a Ledger Nano X. And it's not a new device, right? And we're not recovering the device. Remember, our device is intact. All we need to do is connect an existing Nano that's already set up, right? And of course, if you've bought a device brand new and it's already set up, that's a red flag. I'm assuming that this is your own device that is already set up. Or we'll hit continue here. Now we need to pair it up. All right, I've got the device ready. Mine's plugged in, but this is using Bluetooth. You don't have to have it plugged in because we're using Bluetooth. I just happen to have mine plugged in because it's charging, but it still can use Bluetooth even though it's connected to my computer. So I'm going to go ahead and say pair Nano. We'll pair with Bluetooth. It sees my device there. I'll tap that. And notice there is a pairing going on, right? I see a number on my phone and I see a number on my device. I'm going to need to confirm on my phone and on my Ledger device. So to confirm pairing, I'll just click both buttons and then I'll tap pair on my phone. All right, it's going to detect my device through Bluetooth. And now it's paired up successfully. Now we're just going to do the same thing we did with the desktop, right? We're going to start adding accounts and we'll just look at our device For reference, I'll start with Ethereum like we did last time. We're going to use our ledger, and we'll choose Ethereum, and it's going to connect with the device. It wants me to open the Ethereum app. It's going to scan the device looking for any existing wallets. All right, it found the Ethereum account. We'll go ahead and click continue. You can't name these accounts on the fly as you're creating them. You'll have to go in and rename them after you've added them. So we'll click continue, and we can choose see your asset, and there's the Ethereum wallet along with the ERC20 token that I had in there. All right, and if you wanted to rename the account, you can do it now just by going up to settings, and where it says account name, just tap there, and then you can just name it whatever you want. It's completely up to you. All right, there we are at the home screen. Let's go ahead and go to the next account. If you remember, we'll just look at our device. Okay, the next one would be Bitcoin, so we'll tap add account, choose with ledger, and this time we'll choose Bitcoin, and we'll let it scan the device. All right, it wants me to open the Bitcoin app. I'll click both buttons to do that. All right, there's the Bitcoin account. I'll just tap continue. Go to see asset. All right, there's the Bitcoin account. And if I want to change the name, I can just tap up there, change the account name, whatever your personal preference is. All right, so now on the home screen, I've got these 3 accounts. And then we'll just go down the line and add the rest of the accounts. All right, and there we go. So I just systematically went down and tapped add asset and just let the device connect to Ledger Live so that it could regain access to those accounts. As I mentioned, the device is the keychain, and Ledger Live is the eyes of the wallet, right? Ledger Live allows me to see the asset, the balance, and the transaction history. So I've reestablished access to those crypto assets. It's really easy to recover access to Ledger Live as long as you have an intact device. And that's a fairly common scenario, right? Your device is usually safe and sound in a drawer, your desk drawer or whatever. And for whatever reason, Ledger Live got messed up on your phone or on your computer. All right, so what about that other scenario? Let's go ahead and talk about that. What if you're having Ledger device issues and your Ledger Live software is intact? So the device issue could result from a couple of different things. So you may have had to reset your device, or you accidentally reset your device. That could happen. It's not that common, but it does happen occasionally. And as I mentioned, it's not that difficult to do a restore from recovery phrase. So you could be running an update to your apps or your firmware on the device and have some sort of glitch that would cause it to do a reset. Also, you might enter the PIN incorrectly 3 times, and this will cause the device to reset to factory condition. And in that case, you're going to need to do a restore from your 24-word recovery phrase. Also, your device may have been lost or stolen, and you had to order a replacement. And in that case, you're going to have a brand new device that needs to be restored using your 24-word recovery phrase. Another scenario would be that perhaps the device got damaged. It got stepped on, thrown against a wall, chewed up by your dog, immersed in water, whatever happened, the device got damaged and needed to be replaced. In all of these cases, we're going to be restoring a device from its factory condition. So in that sense, it's pretty much the same steps to recover access to your crypto. Now, I'm not going to cover restoring from your 24-word recovery phrase. It's a little beyond the scope of this video. I will put a link down in the description directing you to my full video on doing a restore from your 24-word backup phrase, and I'll put a link up there in the corner to that recovery video. But I would like to at least show you what a reset device looks like and help you avoid one of the most common pitfalls that a newcomer might encounter when dealing with a reset device. So as I mentioned, we've got our device here. It's in factory condition. Either it got reset by you on purpose or by accident, or you had to buy a new device, and this is what it looks like when you open it up and take it out of the box, right? So as you're going through the initial menus, you're going to get to this point where it's offering to have you set up the device as new. And a lot of people get confused here, and they think that they need to set up the device. It makes sense, right? That's in your brain, right? I need to get this device set up. But we're not setting up a brand new device. We're using a new or reset device to restore from our 24-word recovery phrase. So don't get caught up in doing this one, because this is going to just generate a brand new recovery phrase. That's not what we're trying to do here. We want to do a restore. So what we need to do is navigate past this command over to the next one where it says restore from recovery phrase. All right. So if you have a device that has been reset or you have a replacement, make sure that you go to restore from recovery phrase to do your restore from backup, right? So once you've done that, I'll show you how to regain access to all of your crypto accounts. All right, so we've recovered our device, and we've connected it to our computer and entered our PIN, and here comes the next pitfall that a lot of people fall into. They look at their device, and they see that there are no apps installed on the device, and then they panic again. What happened to all of my crypto? Where's my crypto? Well, the device has been restored from the recovery phrase. It has the master private key on there for all of the wallets that you created, but it doesn't quote unquote remember the apps that you had installed on there before. That's your responsibility. You're going to need to reinstall the apps that you had on there before. Just like in the first scenario, when we lost access to our Ledger Live, we used our device to help us remember the crypto accounts that we had installed. We're just going to do the opposite this time. Now we have an intact copy of Ledger Live that's going to help us remember all of the apps that were installed on the device. So we could just take note of each of the apps that we have installed and go over to the My Ledger area and simply reinstall all of the apps that we see over in our account interface, right? We could do that. But we could also do it kind of systematically. And then at the same time, we want to verify the device with the accounts. In order to do that, you can try to send crypto. But if all you want to do is just verify, you can do a quick receive in order to verify the device. And when we do this, it's going to automatically reinstall the app for us for each account that we're checking. So I'll start with the Bitcoin account. I'll click receive. I'll click continue. Well, it's going to ask me to open the Bitcoin app. But in this case, the app has not been installed yet because it's a fresh recovery. So it's going to install the app for us. Pretty neat, huh? So go ahead, let it install the app, and then open the app as it indicates here. Click both buttons to open the account. And you're going to see the address on your device and on your Ledger Live. So we've killed two birds with one stone. We reinstalled the app that we need to access this crypto, and we've also confirmed that the device matches the account. Now, if you get an error message when this happens, then that means that the device that you're using is not the same device that you used to set up the account. This happens when you have multiple configurations or you have more than one ledger device, right? It has to be a match. But if you only have one ledger device and only one configuration that you've just restored, this should be a match, right? All right, so we can just go ahead and approve this, click done, and go back to our account interface and just go down to the next account. I'll click Ethereum now. I'll do a receive. It's just a quick verification step, right? It's going to check to see whether I have the Ethereum app installed on the device. If it doesn't find the Ethereum app, it will automatically install it for me. All right, and once it's done installing the app, it'll indicate that you should open it. Click both buttons to open it. And then we're going to do that verification step, right? With Ethereum, you will need to advance over. It says verify address, so just go ahead and advance over to see the address, right? Confirm it's the same. There's a match. Go to the next screen, click both buttons. We're done there. We're going to do the same thing for the other assets that we have. We'll go back to the accounts. I'll choose the asset. I'll choose receive. It'll scan the device and reinstall the app if necessary. All right, and there's that verification step. We'll advance over. There's the address, right? It shows us we've got a match. And then we'll just go down the line in each of our accounts and do that quick check, which will reinstall the app on the device and double check to make sure there's a match. And there we go. We're looking at our Cardano address now. Make sure it matches, and we're done. So all of these accounts that we could see in Ledger Live gave us the guide that we needed to get all of the apps reinstalled on our device after our restore, right? And we could do the same thing with the phone. If we don't have the desktop version of Ledger Live, we could do the exact same thing with the phone. All right, so we might encounter the exact same situation if we've done a restore and we're using our phone. We've got an intact copy of Ledger Live, and we have a recently restored device with none of the apps on there that we had on before. As I mentioned before, we could just take note of each of the apps that we need to have installed on our device. Go down to the bottom right and tap My Ledger. Tap our device, right? And now we're in the My Ledger section. We can simply reinstall all of those apps on there. We could also do the verification steps, which will kill two birds with one stone, reinstall the app, and verify the device with the account. So I'll go into the Bitcoin account first. I'll do that receive. All right, I'm going to do that verify step. Right? It's going to check to see if I have the Bitcoin app installed. If I don't, it's going to install it for me, right? So the phone app, it can do the same thing the desktop app does. It can detect the device via Bluetooth and determine whether it has the proper app installed for each of your accounts. So in this case, it's the Bitcoin app is being installed for me automatically as I'm doing this hardware verification check. And so now that it's installed the Bitcoin app, it wants me to open it, right? And it's going to display the address on the device and on the phone, right? This is our verification step. We'll click approve, and we finish with that. Now we can go back to the accounts and do the same thing. We'll go to the Ethereum account. We'll do a receive. We'll choose to verify. All right, it's going to check the device to see if the Ethereum app is installed. Since it doesn't find it, it's going to install it for me automatically. All right, once it's installed, it wants me to open it. Go ahead and go through that verification step. All right, and then I'll just go down the line with each of the assets that I have in this Ledger Live and verify. All right, and there you go. I've used that same technique we used on the desktop to get all of the apps reinstalled on the device. And if you recall, I do have a Cardano account. It's not showing on the home screen. You'll need to go to see all assets if you have a long list of apps. So Cardano is the last one that I want to verify. I'll tap Cardano and do a receive. I'll do the verify step. All right, I'll go ahead and open the Cardano app and do the verification. Click both buttons, get to the address, advance over to see the second half of the address, click both buttons, and do a confirm. All right, and there we go. All right, and if we go back to the home screen of the device, you can see now that all of the apps that I was using before have been reinstalled on the device, and we've done the hardware verification on each of the accounts to make sure the device matches the accounts that we have set up. So there we go. So I've showed you two of the most common scenarios with losing access to your crypto. Problems themselves are not that common, but when you do have a problem, these are the two most common scenarios. Either your Ledger Live is screwed up and you have a device to help you figure everything out, or your device is screwed up and you've got Ledger Live to help guide you get everything back to the way it was before. I hope this video was helpful, and I hope this will help you recover access to your crypto. And if you have any questions, throw them up in the comments and I'll do my best to get them answered. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you'd like to subscribe to my channel, I would appreciate it. When you subscribe, there's a little bell that you can click that will allow you to be alerted whenever I post new content. Once again, thanks for joining me and hope to see you again soon.